Hello and welcome to Most Clicked, the first Most Clicked of 2022. Happy New Year. So Most Clicked is our show where we round up the biggest news stories in HE digital marketing and break them down. So I'm joined by good friends, Kyle Campbell and Matt Lees, who are here to help me break down those stories. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, both.
Happy New Year. Good to be back.
Good to be back indeed, yeah. And we've got 3 stories for this episode of Most Clicked, and they're all pretty related, I think. But Kyle, why don't you do the honours? What is the first story of 2022, please?
Well, they're all based on TikTok, which I didn't realise until about 3 minutes ago.
This episode sponsored by TikTok.
Indeed. It's good though, because I think we always do this, don't we? I put the stories in my newsletter, I find them, but then we only share the ones that people read the most. So it's quite significant that people are reading a lot about TikTok, isn't it? So the first one we have is a general sort of piece about TikTok and how it's performing. It outperformed Google in 2021. I don't think Google's been knocked off the top spot in terms of internet traffic for a decade, at least. This is incredible. And you have Google, which is obviously like the utility of the web, i.e. the thing you need to actually find stuff. And obviously there's other search engines, but it's the go-to one, isn't it? And to see it knocked off its top spot, not by another utility, but by a social platform. Wow, different category of a thing knocking it off the top. I mean, Nath, you're a heavy user of TikTok.
Yeah, I probably contribute at least 75% of that traffic. Yeah, I mean, to be that is representative of my usage of the internet. I think it's got to be the most used app on my phone now by a long stretch. I know that Matt and I commonly talk in "Did you see that TikTok?" language now.
Countless hours lost to it. It just consumes time like nothing else.
Yeah, I think the thing that I actually hadn't realised until I read your newsletter, Kyle, is that you had said, you can do so much on TikTok, or at least TikTok makes you think you can do so much, like learning. I've learned things. I was saying to Matt the other day, like I've been cooking fried eggs wrong for my entire existence until I found a TikTok the other day about how to cook an egg properly. And but there definitely is a thing of like, it's not. Yes, TikTok is the ludicrous content, and I love it for that. I love it for the throwback to the Vine days of just outlandish 6-second clips or people falling over and the hilarity that ensues. But there are other things like, from the little tiny life hacks like how to cook an egg through to there's recipes. I've genuinely gone in the last year, I've cooked recipes from TikTok through to even more meaningful things like there's and admittedly I saw a TikTok last night that was about the backlash of like business TikTok, where people are giving you CV hacks and things like that, and there's a bit of a like, no, I just want owls falling over again, please. But you can. There is so much to it, and the algorithm, which I know you've covered previously, Kyle, and how I think TikTok are going to sell access to the algorithm or something.
Yeah,
man, it learns so fast, and yes, TikTok knows. I mean, does all of this sound similar to what your experience, Matt?
100%. I was going to mention, because you'd put in your newsletter about the algorithm, Kyle, and it's daft little things like before Christmas I was fitting a kitchen, hadn't gone onto TikTok to look for anything related to that, but all of a sudden there's people tiling their kitchen. I'm seeing videos of these things, and I'm like, how does it know? And how does it times it so perfectly? It's uncanny.
So all big fans of TikTok. So I guess if you're a university marketer, bringing it back round, and you don't have a presence on this app yet, I think this year is the year. And if anything, if your resource is still mainly going into like Twitter and Facebook, whatever other channels you're on, YouTube, etc., it might be time to rebalance. And it's a good time early in the year to think about these sort of things. But yeah, it's not a fad. It's here. It's massive, and there's no other social channel ever knocked Google off the top spot. So yeah, definitely worth your time to get involved, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's phenomenal growth. I think absolutely phenomenal.
Incredible. So our next story is again TikTok related, a university example this time. I was a bit late to the party on this one. This video isn't particularly new, but it did catch my attention. Ironically, I found it first on YouTube, and it was in kind of like mobile format. And I thought, well, they must have used this on TikTok, and it didn't do very well on YouTube, as you'd expect, but it's really, really popular on TikTok. And it's University of Plymouth. It's got 100,000 views, and it's essentially one of their scientists blown up a big bucket of ping pong balls with liquid nitrogen. This has all the makings of a brilliant TikTok video. It has the unexpected result. It's very visual, and it has that sort of kind of rapidness going about it. Love to slow down the footage there as well. Really, really cool. Very shareable. So I was thinking that, in addition to having sort of channels like this as a university, I think content like that really cries out to even have like side channels. So you can have your university profile on TikTok as the advice is, but then you might have a separate channel that's just like science blows shit up or whatever it is. The same content time and time again, different results, build a following, whatever. Love to see more of that stuff. I don't think many universities are doing it yet. You don't need to have your brand on it. You can just create a side channel and then worry about what you do with it later. Get the audience first, then you can do what you want with it. But yeah, lots of potential. Really, really good. Don't know what you guys thought of it.
Yeah, this one put me in mind of I went through a phase of seeing a lot of videos where people were putting random objects into a giant press and seeing what the press did to them, like stress toys or toy cars, lighters, whatever it happened to be. And yeah, they're strangely addictive to watch. Yeah. And once you've seen a couple of them, they show up all the time. And yeah, you see a lot of kind of science-based stuff. And I was interested to hear your thoughts, Kyle, on how you take something like that, but then actually turn that into recruited students. How you use that following to then turn it into conversions.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? And I think with any kind of content marketing initiative, if you focus on building some sort of profile or platform that attracts an audience to it, you can think about this sort of stuff a bit further down the line. If you've got a bunch of people who are, I don't know, mid to late teens looking at your content, it's university related, it's science related, you don't necessarily have to go down the undergraduate route. You could go down like short courses, just a lower cost or whatever it is. You could invite people onto campus for in-person events and then build off the property that way. There's lots of ways you can do it. It's not a familiar route to market for a lot of universities, but there's loads of content creators out there who build that channel first and then monetize that content or build on that content in some way further down the line. There's absolutely no problem in building up an audience for like 6 to 12 months and then going into that second phase of monetization.
I'd kind of had this shower thought the other day, actually, which is that TikTok is perfect for universities to begin their sales funnels earlier. And actually, in hindsight, I'm not saying that the pandemic's behind us, but during the pandemic was actually a really neat time. And I'd love to know if any universities have really took advantage of this, but would have been a really neat time for universities to start targeting people way earlier in the recruitment period. And I know that there are universities that will start targeting kind of 12, 13-year-olds. I know there's a whole thing around that. But I'm talking about the 13 to 16 gap and actually starting the sales process earlier. And that totally makes sense for as a competitive advantage for universities to start doing that. And I don't know many that have really laid any groundwork to do that. Again, very interested in any universities that have, but TikTok seems like a great platform to do that. And I think it's things about the algorithm, it's things about the absurdity of content that you can get people interested in a subject area very early on, not being recruitment content, by simply being cool content that later on can transition to, now we think that you're into this type of content. Why not come and study it for 3 years at a university?
Yeah, we happen to offer a course in this topic, and here's the person you've seen doing the TikToks and all that, and it becomes more of a package then, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. A slower burn process for sure, and obviously I know there will be some risk attached with that. But I did, like I say, I had this shower thought, and I was like, yeah, TikTok's exactly how you could do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think slightly later in the cycle as well, lifestyle comes into it. I saw some examples from, I think it was LSE. I think they were paid. They were ads as much as anything, but they were like user generated things around the lifestyle that studying their degree at LSE was allowing them to do. And there was this guy, and he was at home, and he was studying from home. He had his dog there, and I think one of the lines was more time to spend with my pup, or something along those lines. So, it was kind of selling that lifestyle as well as the experience that you talk about there.
It's one of the.
Sorry, carry on, though.
Sorry, I was just going to say, TikTok seems to be one of the social platforms that seems to have gathered a lot of age demographics very quickly. Like usually they start as youth audiences and slowly creep up to like boomers. But this one, there seems to be a TikTok for everybody on there at the moment. So, what is our third and final story, Kyle?
Our final story is again TikTok related. It's in the culture shock of my newsletter. I like it when content in this area does really well, because often really weird and wonderful stories. Now, essentially, this is a TikTok of someone who was using Apple iPods, like early editions from like sort of early 2000s, as hair clips.
Oh, the old shuffles.
Love this. And every millennial exploded essentially, and and it had 2 million views. And this person here, she has a Depop store, which it's sort of like it's the opposite of fast fashion. It's like finding kind of retro and build used clothes and selling them again online, building your own profile while doing so. And she's built this TikTok channel, and she highlights all the fashion items that she has to sell and the outfits, etc. And it's like a way in for her business, essentially. We're talking about ways to monetize there. That's one way this person is doing. But the hook here is like, oh my god, the shuffles are now a retro item, and I cry inside. It's painful, but it's wonderful to watch, because that means that sort of nostalgia and retro periods, the distance between this in terms of time is getting kind of squashed a wee bit. So I wonder if like retro is now 4 years ago. So it's funny. I just loved it. It's painful to watch maybe, but at the same time it's hilarious.
Yeah, I saw this one. This one came up on my For You page, and I was one of the outraged millennials. I was like, how does this? And I had that realization of like, if you remember an iPod shuffle, you're old now. But it is quite interesting. I don't know how universities can exactly leverage that, but it's definitely one of the reasons that TikTok is, in my opinion, deservedly in that number one spot for traffic this year.
Yeah.
I think the message to take from it though is how an idea and just a small clip like that can explode without any profile history, without any sort of tried and tested methods of content marketing. It's a viral piece of content that finds an audience quite easily on the platform, and there's no presence before or anything like that. So if you're creative and you have something that connects with a lot of people, then you can be literally an overnight hit on TikTok. And I don't think there's any other channel that has an algorithm that promotes content in that way, and that makes the platform unique. So with you, Nath, I just think there's a lot of opportunity here on TikTok this year.
Well, And I know a lot of the kind of ad agencies and media people. If you're on LinkedIn, you'll see them talking about how you should be exploiting TikTok. So I'm really excited to see what universities bring to the table this year, and I expect to be targeted heavily by those people. um, it's been lovely to have you guys back. Happy New Year once again, and see you in a couple of weeks, Kyle. Matt, I'm excited to do more Most Clicks this year. So on that basis, if you want to find out more about Most Clicked, you can do so at wearesmile.com/most clicked. There's lots of ways now. We're on YouTube, LinkedIn, we're a podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Do get in touch. But for now, have a great day and see you soon. Bye.